Hi there, I'm Soraya Mentor, and this is Africa Beyond Borders. We get to chat to amazing Africans who've traveled beyond their home countries. It is all about real stories, authentic big dreams, and how we carry our culture everywhere we go. Today's guest is Brooklyn Plaatijies, and she's all the way from America. Hi,
Hello.
Brooklyn.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I am doing quite all right. I'm really excited to get my story out and to, help Africans get out there.
I'm so excited to hear this. Getting into it, where are you currently? Brooklyn is actually grew up in South Africa. Now she's pursuing au pairing and being a professional dancer at the same time. So when did you move to the United States?
Yeah. So currently I am back home for a bit. I have too much homesickness. So I've come back home for a little bit and just to, say hi to my family again. But I was based in Iowa, Des Moines, my for my last au pairing experience. And before that, I was in Colorado Springs.
That is just fantastic to hear. Like, I actually don't know any of these states, and I'm so excited to get into how they differ from one another. I want to firstly ask, how
Yeah.
was the process of moving to the United States? What was it like preparing like the paperwork?
Oh, yes. So it's quite expensive. So if it's something that you really want to do, it really is worth it. It really, really, really is worth it. And so it was quite crazy, quite all over the place. But if you work through an agent, then it goes quite smoothly. They help you with everything, and yeah, so they basically take you through all the steps. So, firstly, you work very closely with a course and what you'd like to do, and you work with teachers and people who have done it before and people who can, relate to your story. So, first, you meet your teachers, they teach you a whole bunch of things, and as soon as your profile is up, which is what they speak to you about, from there, you are paying your program fee, you are paying for your visa, your passport, and just the small things that you need. So I needed my passport and I did not have a passport. And I was like, what am I going to do? So I went down to my, local home affairs and I sat in a line and I sat there for 16 hours. And I sat in the line and I said, Mom, I can't do this. I want to go home. It's gonna take forever. I started crying while I was there. I was like, this is taking forever. But my mom said, no, we have to do this and we're gonna wait. And we ended up waiting for 16 hours to get my passport. From there, I go to Cape Town or to Johannesburg or to Durban, where you go to the embassy. And the embassy gives you your visa. They ask you lots of questions. Why do you want to go? When will you be back? And simple questions that you have to answer. And if you give them the correct answers, you will be able to come into the United States with your visa.
Wait, wait. I just got a load of information right now. You waited
Yeah.
16 hours in line to get a passport, and then you have to
Uh-huh.
do a lucky guess questioning answer situation so that you can prove that you're worthy of staying in this country or that you belong there.
Yep.
That,
Yeah, so it was quite
wow.
insane.
That is so much to take in, but okay, we wanted to find out the ways and now we know the ways. So, like you guys heard, Brooklyn said if you're really serious about this, sort out your finances, be patient, and have the right answers wherever you get them from.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, and there are a few like more there are much more things that you have to do. You have to get your service, which is basically telling you which family you're going to be living with. And you also have to get a whole bunch of documents just saying that you are South African, you will be coming back after a year. And if you'd like to extend who you are going through, and you need to get a specific visa as well. So there is a lot, and it is information overload. And I am sorry, but that is really how it is. And people can say, like, oh, no, it's easy. You just walk into America. But it's really not like that. And you need to be patient as well, because you have to remember that, that's their soil, this is our soil. So we need to get in properly, and we need to get in efficiently. And as well, like the airports, they checked every document of mine, from service all the way to passport. So yeah, it is quite information overload, but yeah, it's totally worth it.
You know, to talk about this, I think that this just shows, and would love to tap into how you're so passionate about children development. I would love for you to share that part of yourself, why you chose to do a pairing, and
Yeah.
actually why you chose the United States.
Yeah, so au pairing is not being a nanny. It's not being a maid. It's really being a sister and being a friend and being a good role model. And when you are walking into the au pair system, you need to put the parents' needs first. You would think that it's the kids' needs first, but your parents, your host parents, need they need trust, they need loyalty. They need someone who is a good role model for their kids, and someone who they can leave their kids with you. I love children. I love them so much. When I'm older, I want to have a massive family. I want to have tons of children. And so working in the au pair system was really something that I was passionate about, because I can be the good role model. I can be the inspiration. I can be the good influence. And, I can get my feet on that ground. And it wasn't really. It wasn't smooth sailing. It wasn't smooth. It was always rocky. The parents had something new to say. And the kids also don't really just click with you just like that. You have to really gain their trust. But I'm really good with that. Last 2 years ago, I was a dance teacher, and I worked with about 80 children. And so working with 80 children was really, really nice, really smooth, and really simple. And now I'm working with three, and it's like the biggest thing ever, because you are only working with three children and working with their development, their growth, their knowledge. So it really came down from 80 all the way to three, and focusing on just those babies. But I loved it, and I chose America because I just love overseas. I didn't really mind where I was going. I could have gone to Tennessee, or I could have gone and lived in Chicago, lived in New York, but I chose places that I had no clue about, because I loved my family. So you don't choose the place, you have to choose the family.
Wow, that is beautifully said. You don't choose the place and you don't choose the family. I love how you tapped into, you went from 80 kids to 3 kids and how that was a load full.
Yeah.
That was absolutely just amazing to hear. I'd like to hear, how did you find, just comparing the different countries, because you did say you were a dancer, how do you find the dance industry where you currently are?
Yes. So, wow. So I love to dance. And when I lived in Colorado Springs, it was quite intense. So I decided to join myself into a advanced class. And I walked in and I was like, hello. I had South African beads on my hand and South African necklace. And they were like, oh, this girl is different. Who is she? And I said, I want to do dance. And I was like, please put me in. And back home, I was a really, really, really big dancer. I danced everywhere for every company. And now I decided I'm going to do Colorado Springs Academy of Dance. And it was challenging. It was intense. It was waking up in the morning and, going for a run and then going to dance. And it was like, high kicks and jumps and everything. You know how it goes. So it was intense.
That is just fantastic to hear, like how you had to adapt. How was it balancing au pairing and pursuing a career in dance, especially in an entirely new continent? continent for you, rather.
Yeah, it was actually quite nice. My host was understanding, and they wanted the best for me. I mean, I'm a 19-year-old girl. It's my first time traveling. It's my first time coming overseas, and my host parents really wanted me to find friends and find people who have the same interests as me. So they were very supportive, and they I had my own car, and in America, I had my own car, and it was this massive SUV, and so I could take myself where I wanted to go. And my host parents were really, really, really supportive of of what I wanted to do.
That is just fantastic to hear. Before we continue, we're going to take a little break and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Africa Beyond Borders. I'm your host, Soraya Mentor. Today in studio, we have Brooklyn Plaatijies with us as she's here to share her journeys of au pairing and professionally dancing in both South Africa and America. So we were just getting into your life as an au pair and how you had to adapt. I would love to find out, what is a day in the life for you like?
Oh, that is a really good question. So okay, this is gonna be jam packed. But in the mornings, when you first meet your host family, they will give you a schedule and they'll give you a time to wake up and do what they have to do. They'll give you kids' timetables. You'll be on emails with the schools. And so, in my first host family, I woke up at about 6 a.m. I would go outside of my room after getting dressed, and my little boy, who's 2 years old, he will wake up right as I wake up, and we'll go downstairs. I'll start making breakfast, and when breakfast is done, I will go wake up my girls. From there, we're eating breakfast, and it's fun. And while they're eating, I'll be making their lunch boxes and I'll be packing their school bags and I'll put all their winter goodies right in the front, right by the front door. And after breakfast, they'll be getting ready for school. They'll be, getting dressed. And then from there, I will take them from home to school in my car. And now I have a few hours opened up for me. So I can go to a coffee shop, I can go to Starbucks, and I can basically, do what I have to do for the day until school comes out. When school is out, I'm already outside waiting, and I'll go straight up to the front door and I'll go collect all my kids. And from there, we'll go home and I'll make them lunch. And I'll do their homework with them. And then we might do some coloring, we might do some drawing, or we'll just be playing with the toys. It might be Transformers, Barbie dolls, or Legos. And from there, my host parents get home. And from then, we're going bath time, we're going lunch, and we're doing a story for bedtime. And in my second family, I had two families. In my second family, I only worked 3 days out of the five, and I would. It's basically the same schedule, except on Fridays and Thursdays, I would only be required to go fetch them from school and continue from school until the end of the day.
That is, firstly, I didn't know you had two families. That is, how are you doing this? How are you living this? I look up to you so much. Funny thing that you said when you went to your dance, well, when you joined the dance industry there, people were like, oh, she's different. How did you see the difference in families, especially comparing your family in South Africa to the American type families? What are common things that you guys share, or maybe things that are not the same?
Yeah. So in my South African house, so my, where I live, um, I would not be so adventurous with my food, and I would have the normal South African food. When I went to America, I had Mexican food and I had Latin food and European food and American food, and it was like it was such a like change for me because I am not adventurous when it comes to food, but America pushed me to test my limits. And America, it helped me grow. It really helped me grow. And between families is quite I mean, we're all human at the end of the day. It's all pretty much the same. We all want our children to be raised really well, but in American households, it is very common to do everything earlier than later. So our dinners were at 5 p.m., where in South Africa, our dinners are like 8 p.m. And that's different for me. I'm not quite sure if it's different for anyone else. And other things is like the American households, they much more expressive and much more, outgoing with it. You really can't explain it because you've lived with them for so long. They seem like your normal family. But when I got there at the beginning, it was like it was quite exciting to see what was going to be different. And I must say, not much for me was that different because you get to choose your own family, and my families, they worked very closely with how I was raised and with how I grew up. So it wasn't that different, I must say. I know that it is quite disappointing that I am saying that, but I'm really happy that not much was different for me, except, my accent. My accent was quite weird to them.
I don't think any of this was disappointing. It was really insightful, at least for me, to find out how you adapted that. And 5 p.m. for dinner. That is very interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd love to ask because they did, well, your parents, rather, if I can say that, they were like, oh, we really want you to get friends. How was it like building friendships?
Ooh, okay. It for me, I'm a very outgoing person. I think social anxiety is a bit scared of me. I'm not afraid to, walk up to someone and be like, "Hey, I love your shoes." Like it's quite difficult for me to just be like not speaking to them. I will always, walk up to someone. So it wasn't that difficult making friends. Eventually, I was going on road trips with my friends. Eventually, I was going skiing with my friends. And it was it was really fun. They loved listening to how I speak Afrikaans, and they loved listening to how I say Xhosa, because they were like, "How do you click your tongue like that?" And that it was like it was quite entertaining for everyone to get to know me. I think I had a lot of stories as well. They were excited to know that we don't have lions walking around in the street. um, and so yeah, it was quite nice, and everyone was so welcoming and so friendly.
I do remember you saying that America taught you a lot of growth. What was the top three things that you noticed immediately changed in yourself?
Yeah, I became immediately. I was so much more independent. I was, getting myself up out of bed. I was, I don't know, like independency. It's quite a broad term, but I was getting myself from A to B. I was getting my own social security number. I was, inquiring about dance classes. My mom used to do my doctor's appointments, and all of a sudden I was like, "Hi, I need a doctor's appointment for this time," and it was the first time that I'd ever done that. um, I know it's quite sad that my mom would still do my doctor's appointments, but that is what happened. And I'd say another thing is how I see life and how I see different people. I never put, color to a face, and I never put ethnicity to a face or religion to a face. It was really for me, I saw people and I was like, we are all so different, but so same and so similar, and it was quite beautiful to see how different people live. And so I think that number one, independency, and number two, definitely, getting to know different people and, being up. And I'd say that number three in my growth was how I showed people who I am. And that is also quite a broad spectrum. But I I showed people who I am in a sense of the way I dressed, the way I looked, how I presented myself. And because I was looking after children, I took more time in how I was acting, how I was being. And I think that that really paid off because I met so many different people from that and from changing, not necessarily changing, but growing.
Just beautifully said. That is just so inspiring to hear from you, Brooklyn. I would like to find out your most
Thank you.
exciting adventure you had yet.
Woo! Oh goodness. Okay. So in Colorado Springs, I speak about Colorado Springs a lot because that's where all my friends are. And so we went on this road trip and we were going to Keystone Mountains in Colorado Springs. And as I was driving in the morning, I got pulled over by a American cop, American police officer, and I rolled down my window and I was like, "Goeiemorgen," and he didn't, and I didn't realize that I said it in Afrikaans. So he just looked at me and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm South African." And I was like, I was so nervous. I was so terrified. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go to jail, American jail." And I was calling all my friends because it's like 3 p.m. where it's like 5 a.m. And my dad is a police officer, and he was like, "Just be calm, just like don't worry about it, you'll be fine." And the cop's like, "License and registration, please, ma'am." And I was like, "Okay." So I give everything to him, and everything seems to be in order. And then I'm on my way going to my friend's house, and that was just a crazy experience. Like being pulled over was insane. I don't even know what I did. And so, but luckily I was okay. After that, I get to my friend's house and I tell them about this whole experience and this whole story, and they say it's okay. Let's go ski. So we go skiing, and my feet are dying. It's not like ice skating. It's like going down a hill, and you're on your feet, and it's just so exhilarating, but I kept falling, and all my friends were going from the top of the mountain all the way down, and then they'd go back up and then all the way down again, and I was still on the like in the middle of the mountain, and they were just like, "You need to hurry up," and I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing." So that was quite exciting, so adventurous. And it was quite new. I have never touched snow before, and that was my first time, like, on snow, touching snow, falling into snow.
Yeah.
So it was great.
That's just the funniest story. I was like crying tears when you were saying he pulled me over like goeiemorgen. What an experience you had. And the sledding, I have no idea about sledding. The fact that you did it, well done on you, you know.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's completely amazing just hearing your stories and hearing the amazing lessons you've learned. It inspires me so much, and I'm sure it inspired the viewers. Thank you so much for joining us today in Studio Brooklyn. It was fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you
so
all for
much. It
watching.
was so exciting, my story out there.
It really, really was. I wish your adventures become even more crazier in a good way, even more different foods. Why not try Chinese foods at 5 p.m. at night again?
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for joining us. To our viewers, this was it, but there will be more next Monday at 8:30 p.m. Catch us every Monday, like I said, 8:30 p.m. on DSTV channel 285, GoTV channel 25, and 1up2.com. See you then.